Minister Bheki Cele says the Independent Police Investigative Directorate is investigating the death of a suspect in the Mthwalume murders. The man was due in court yesterday but died in police custody at the weekend. The community wants to know how he got the rope he hanged himself with. I'm joined now by Ipid spokesperson Ndileka Cola. Very good morning to you. Why are you getting involved?
Good morning. Good morning and good morning to your listeners as well, and thank you for having me. Well, I can confirm that indeed Ipid is investigating death as a result, death in police custody. This is after a gentleman that has been was in custody, apparently, as you just indicated, hanged himself inside the police cell yesterday in the morning. This happened very early, like just after midnight. So, the responsibility of IPIP is to play an oversight role over South African Police Service. So, whenever there's transgression in terms of law, and especially when it comes to death in police custody, death as a result of police action, assault, as well as a police officer discharging firearm, and if there's rape by police or rape in police custody, such instances IPID investigates. So this is one of the areas which IPID is mandated and empowered to investigate police own. So as the story goes, this gentleman, as I've indicated, has been in custody and has been detained for a case of 5 counts of murder. So he was in Scottsburg SAPS. So what is alleged to have occurred here is that this gentleman went on. There's a confession procedure that they go through. So he went to hospital for the procedure. Before the procedure, because that is the standard operating procedure. So he went to hospital before the procedure, and after the procedure, he went to hospital, and then he went into the confession procedure, and he was left into his cell at about just after midnight.
I mean, you've got to wonder how, excuse me, jumping in here, how something like this could happen. I mean, I would assume that if anybody is a suspect and they go into jail, that anything is taken away from them that they could possibly use to harm their lives. So if something is fed to them, it could be through, I don't know, family, police. What would you be thinking along these lines?
Yes, remember the responsibility of our investigation officials is to establish that. How did it occur that somebody who was in police custody then would have had such sort of tools, that string that would allow them to be able to hang themselves. And I think that we are ought to allow that process to unfold, to allow our investigators to do their job and investigate it thoroughly. And when they finish that, then they will compile a comprehensive report that details what transpired. How did it really occur that we find somebody with a string of his pants in police custody that ultimately led to him able to commit suicide within the police premises.
What sort of impact is this likely to have on the case? Because apparently he was a very important suspect. A lot of information was linked to him.
Remember, the mandate of IPID is to investigate. So, and once the investigation is done, we compile a report to either NPA or to the South African Police Service. So then it's those two bodies then that the mandate of IPID ends at the point when the investigation is completed. Then we recommend and send to either of those two bodies. Then one of them can then take and concede with the recommendations of IPID or the reports that we send, and then they shall go through the judicial system if NPA agrees and then agrees to prosecute the police officers that were involved. Or if it's a disciplinary matter, if there's a careless or negligence that would have occurred, then they will be dealt with in terms of employer-employee relations prescripts.
Okay, forgive me for asking this, but I know that, I mean, a community, the family members, people are outraged, disgusted, and the fact that this happens obviously is just, you know, for many of them a tipping point. Do you have somebody in mind? Is there a suspect? Do you know possibly who's behind this?
According to the preliminary investigation that IPID has done, yesterday. There is no foul play. There is no discrepancy at this point in time that we are able to detect. There's no proof of any sort of assault. As I've indicated, they went for medical procedure before and after the confession procedure. So there's nothing that shows that. But having said that, I must indicate that today is Wednesday. On Wednesday, tomorrow, there's going to be post-mortem, and there's a part of investigation process is going to reveal the other intricacies that, and as well as the investigation and other witnesses involved. Then those processes, then as they unfold and as the full investigation goes ahead, then we'll be able to ascertain what exactly happened, and if there's negligence, and if there's no negligence, and if how really it got to this unfortunate incident was to occur in a police cell.
Ndileka Cola, good to talk to you. We look forward to getting your results.